All right. No, I think we can hear you and see you. It's all good. Welcome everyone to the SSC HDR seminar series. This is the December session of 2021. And today we are going to have a single talk by Rifat Arashams. And she's going to talk to us about society-oriented applications development. And this was a paper published at International Conference on Software Engineering 2020. And yep, Rifat, the scene is yours.
Hello,
Thanks.
all. Good afternoon. So it's afternoon, right?
Yes, now.
Yeah, I got confused suddenly. Anyway, I'm Rifat Arashams, final year PhD student at the Department of Software Systems and Cybersecurity under the Faculty of IT. I'm working on operationalizing human values in software engineering in the lab office that stands for Operationalizing Values in Software. So I'm welcoming you all to my presentation today titled Society-Oriented Applications Development, Investigating Users' Values from Bangladeshi Agriculture Mobile Applications. Okay, so just a minute, it's not working anymore. Excuse me, my pointer is not working anyway. So. Yep. I'm so sorry, you know, after 2.5 years, I'm giving the in-person presentation. Maybe that's why everything is not working. Anyway, so this paper is published in IGZI 2020, as Mohammed already mentioned, co-authored by Professor John Whittle, Associate Professor Gillian Oliver, Dr. Wakar Hussain, Harsha Pereira, and Arif Nuruidiantoro. So before moving, let me share the backstory of this paper a little bit. So I'm in my PhD, I'm working on operationalizing human values in mobile applications, a mixed methods empirical study with agriculture apps for Bangladeshi female farmers. So there are, basically 3 objectives: to elicit the values of Bangladeshi female farmers, to identify the extent to which the existing Bangladeshi agriculture apps reflect their values, and to identify the possible strategies to address their values in apps. So this paper can't answer any of these research questions. Rather, we have conducted this study to enhance our background knowledge and build the context. So let's have a look what we have done in this paper. After reading the title, usually people have the question, what exactly values are? So I searched this term in Google, and Google thinks values mean breakfast, room, Wi-Fi, coffee, bathroom, hotel, bed, etc. So, well, I can't disagree. Maybe I can live without coffee or bed, maybe, but I can't live without Wi-Fi and bathroom anyway, so fair enough, I think. But I still think values should be something more. So I again searched in Google, and this word cloud popped up, like money, payment, deposit, bank, transfer, ATM, I mean, all the business and economic values. But the values I'm talking about, this is beyond monetary values. According to a social psychology researcher, Shalom H. Schwartz, values are desirable trans-situational goals varying in importance that serve as guiding principles in people's lives. That means values are what people consider important in life. Values are something that reflect people's personal and social preferences. For example, loyalty, honesty, freedom, achievement, security, uniqueness, thoughtfulness, etc. Okay, now we have an idea about values, but the next question is, why values in apps? Now look at this poor grandpa. You know how much he's struggling with the tiny fonts of a mobile app. So imagine how easy it would be if the fonts are larger enough to read by this grandpa. I believe this accessibility issue is the most important values of him, which he expects from an app. But how many times do we think about values while developing apps? In fact, the necessity of addressing values in apps can only be realized when a value violation occurs in any apps. Let me share an example. This is Molly Russell, a British teenager who tragically committed suicide in 2017, and her parents blamed Instagram for her death, as she once searched a self-harm image, and the recommendation algorithm of Instagram filled her homepage with more self-harm images. As she became disturbed, mentally unhealthy, and it violated her values like peace, pleasure, enjoying life, meaning in life. As a result, she killed herself. So can you imagine how horrible the result of value violations in apps can be? In fact, you can find hundreds of examples of value violations in apps. For example, the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal, labeling Black people as gorillas by Google Photos, and so on. So values in apps are not only necessary for personal lives, but also necessary for society and economy. Let me share another story which I got from my fieldwork in Bangladesh. A woman from a remote area in Bangladesh who was a homemaker and completely dependent on her husband changed her life by simply using an agriculture app. With the help of it, now she is conducting agriculture business, contributing to the family and the economy. However, the same woman stopped using an agriculture app because of the lack of information regarding crop diseases. It didn't meet her information requirements and curiosity. That's why she stopped using it. Similarly, another woman stopped using an agriculture app because of the complex language, as she expected simplicity from the app. Therefore, the negative consideration of human values in apps can lead to user disappointments and this kind of negative socioeconomic consequences. But the good thing is nowadays the researchers and developers are quite aware about values while developing apps like security, privacy, and accessibility. But other than these values, there are far more values which should be addressed in any kind of mobile applications. For example, tradition, freedom, independence, security, privacy, social power, social justice, and so on. With this ultimate goal, we have conducted a case study with the agriculture apps in Bangladesh to build the context what I have mentioned before. So we manually analyzed reviews of the existing agriculture apps to explore the the desired values of the users of agriculture apps in Bangladesh, and to identify how many of their values are already reflected in the apps and which values are missing. So we started with almost 4,000 user reviews from 35 Bangladeshi agriculture apps, but after some processing, we proceeded with 1,522 user reviews from 29 Bangladeshi agriculture apps. For this purpose, we have used a universal human values theory called the Schwartz theory of basic human values, which is the most cited and widely used human values theory in social science and in other disciplines as well. So Schwartz defined 10 main value categories like self-direction, stimulation, universalism, benevolence, and he measured these 10 main value categories from 58 individual value items. So in our paper, we searched these 58 values from the user reviews of Bangladeshi agriculture apps to, provide a direction to the developers that which of these values should be considered while developing apps. This is the methodology of our paper. and so we, we placed all the reviews under 3 categories: desired values, present values, and missing values. The term desired and present has been used when users expect a value from an app and when the value is already reflected in the app respectively. And we named the term, the values as missing values that are, desired by the users but not present in the apps. At first, we we analyzed all the reviews and categorized it under several categories like criticism, problem faced, suggestions, expectations, queries, and praise. The reviews under the category praise can be related to present values, and other categories can be related to desired values. So I can give an example. So I got a review stating, "This app is not for all, this is only for the smart farmers." As this is a criticism, so this can be related to the value desired values. And again, after analyzing to relate it with values, we found it can be related to the value equality. As we worked as an abstract topic like values, so we try to think openly and understand the semantics of the reviews. Okay, so this is the finding of the study. So we got to 21 values of the users of Bangladeshi agriculture apps. Those are desired by the users from the apps, such as pleasure, capability, tradition, ambition, wisdom, and among them, curiosity and wisdom are their most desired values. Among these 21 desired values, almost half of the values are already reflected in the apps, which we called present values, like pleasure, capability, tradition, curiosity, helpfulness, and so on. And wisdom has the maximum presence among all the values. And there are also some values which we found missing. This is almost 10 values are missing, like freedom, independence, security, privacy, loyalty, and so on. So, this is, we did this study to give a message to the developers, to give a direction to the developers and researchers that which values they should consider while developing apps. Though these values are the end users of Bangladeshi agriculture apps particularly, but the methodology can be replicated to any domain or any society to build the society-oriented applications that are more sensitive to user reviews or users' values, I'm sorry. Okay, so now you might ask, okay, we know what are values, what values are desired, what values are present, which values are missing. But now the next question is how to address these values in applications. So this is, it is not covered in this paper. This is another study which I have conducted, and the title is Human Values in Mobile App Development, an empirical study on Bangladeshi agriculture mobile apps. This paper is currently under review in a journal, but the preprint is available on Archive and ResearchGate. So if you are interested, you can have a look. And to give a little glimpse, I have proposed 14 strategies to address values in mobile applications and categorized it into 4 groups, like functionalities, awareness, work process practices, and team structure and responsibilities. So I'm not going into very detailed, as this is another paper. Maybe in some other presentation I can talk about this, but if you are interested to know about this paper, then definitely I'm happy to chat after the presentation. Okay, so I'm at the end of my presentation. But before leaving, I'd like to remind you that values are necessary to be addressed while developing apps. So let's make apps more human, more society-oriented. Thank you. If you have any questions, and I would really appreciate your advice, suggestions.
Thank you very much, Rifat, for your interesting talk. Do we have any questions?
Can you go back to the slides with the pie? Yeah, here. Actually, I don't really understand what the percentage in the pie chart means.
Okay, so while we were analyzing the reviews, so for example, the value wisdom, for example, we got the value wisdom as the user's desired values, then how many reviews mentioned about wisdom? Only one value or maybe 1,000, only one review or maybe 1,000 reviews. So I provided this as a percentage so that the developers or maybe the researchers can have an idea of which values they need to be prioritized while developing apps.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Any other questions from here? I'll ask a couple of questions. Actually, while we are here, so I was wondering actually about this security and privacy concerns of the users. Do you remember what were they concerned about mostly in this respect? Like what were their security and privacy concerns?
Yeah. I got several reviews on security and privacy. Then one reviews were saying that why the app is asking our private information, we are not willing to give our private information. So yeah, so I think it's breaching their privacy. So they are not willing to give their private information to the app. So maybe while logging, but I got this kind of reviews regarding privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what does the app exactly do? Like, is it like user specific or is it just kind of like a more general agriculture app? Like, do you need to kind of personalize your app or this is not needed?
For this paper?
Yeah, for this one.
For this paper, we particularly, look only to the Bangladeshi agriculture apps, not in very general. But, at the very beginning, I mentioned it can't answer any of the research questions of my PhD work, as this is, you can't say that these apps are only used by the farmers. So it can be used by agriculture university students, maybe researchers, maybe agriculturists, maybe from agriculture ministry or farmers. So it's focusing on Bangladeshi agriculture apps, but it's building the context and giving you an idea that which values we need to be emphasized. Okay. I hope I answered your question, Mohammed.
Yeah. I have actually one more question. So did you, I think you mentioned that you manually kind of went through the reviews. Did you use any also tools to help with that?
No, I didn't use any of the automated tools because there was a reason. As I'm Bangladeshi, so it was pretty easy for me to look at the Bangladeshi reviews written in Bengali. I didn't use any. Yeah, we could translate the reviews and apply some automated tool, but we didn't do it. There was a reason, because when I was checking the reviews, I found some, some reviews which is like a humor. So I don't think automated tool can detect this. I can give an example. One person was saying in the reviews that this app is not working in my new mobile. Wow, amazing. So we can guess that what the wow and amazing mean. I mean, maybe he is very irritated with it and that's why he did so. But if we use the automated tool, definitely, I think that wow and amazing would be taken as a positive review, but it's not a positive review at all. So I chose better manually analyze the reviews.
Okay. Let me try to. Does anyone from Zoom have any questions? You can unmute yourself and speak. I turned on the mic.
My presentation was not interesting, I think. Or maybe I would really appreciate as you all are here, so any advice or any suggestions for me, that would be really great.
I found it interesting, especially as I mentioned, I'm kind of curious about this. Like, what does the app ask in terms of like these questions that you mentioned, this personal question? Because like, if I don't know what the users use this app for, are they just, I don't know, taking a photo and saying,
no, there are in fact several apps, and I personally used some of the apps. Some of the apps are for giving information about plants or how to do the cultivation or regarding the crop diseases, insects, and etc. And some of the apps are you can find like a scanner. When you open the app, there is a the camera will be open as well, and you can take the picture of a plant, and it will directly go to the consultants of of that particular area, and he or she will solve the problem. Okay, you can get rid of these insects by doing this. So there are several interesting applications, and there are some applications which cover all the crops, but there are some applications which cover only one area, for example, paddy cultivation or prawn cultivation only. So interesting, yeah. And when I visited to Bangladesh for my fieldwork, I didn't believe before going that, okay, farmers are using applications. I thought it's maybe it's not going to work. But after visiting there, I got really surprised that literally applications, mobile applications changed their life. They are so smart to handle a smartphone and mobile applications, though they have given training on it, but now they are using it every day in their everyday life.
Are these apps developed by like in Bangladesh, or is this like international app that is kind of adapted to Bangladesh?
Okay, good question. So as the Bangladeshi farmers, they are less educated. So if it is international applications, so language is a barrier, they can't read English. So the apps we focus, that's built for Bangladeshi people, written in Bengali language, and developed in Bangladesh by Bangladeshi developers.
So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you Rifat for your very interesting talk. So we may conclude the session here. Hope to see everyone in the February session. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.